Hey everybody, it's the top of the hour. Don't worry, you've still got a little bit of time to get yourself some snacks, get something to drink, get all comfy cozy, and share out the link with your friends and family who aren't already in the stream, because Body Pozi Comedy will begin in 2.5 minutes. Welcome to the virtual Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for Body Pozi Comedy. Please welcome to your screen your host, Dan Smith.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Body Pozi Show. And we have got a spectacular show for you tonight. I am your host, Dan Smith. You can call me Dan the Can't Stand Up Comedian. You can't tell from this little box that I'm in, but I'm in a wheelchair. I've been in a wheelchair for my whole life. I have a birth defect called spina bifida. I also have a whole bit about what spina bifida is and all that. I don't really feel like doing it tonight, though. So just trust me, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm going to tell you, though, I remembered something earlier. I had a memory from a long time ago that I haven't thought about in a long time. I remember the first time I ever got bullied. I was in the 3rd grade, and I went to school wearing a T-shirt of Wham. You know, the pop duo Wham, George Michael and the other guy whose name I can never remember. So this kid saw me wearing this T-shirt, and he started picking on me, telling me that the guys on my shirt looked gay. You know, you could say a lot of things about my hometown, but forward thinking is not one of them. So it didn't bother me, though, that, you know, he was picking on me. It bothered me that his taste in music was so crappy. So, shoot. I'm sorry. Anyway, shoot. Derek, can you take over for a moment, please?
Sure. This is the Body Pozi Comedy Show. We are here to dig in and share each of our stories about getting to know our bodies. about getting to know how stuff works. You know, me, myself, personally, you know, my name's Derek. I realized that I was gender fluid because I was scrolling through Instagram and I was looking at all these like beautiful ladies and I realized I was really jealous of the thigh gap. You know, like I really didn't want my penis and balls. Like I could throw them off into the tall grass if I could just have thigh gap. I thought thigh gap would just look perfect on me. But really, I got to know myself in lots of ways. You know, it was weird for me growing up as a medium brown person in the suburbs. You know, I grew up around a lot of white people that would never say the N word, you know, but they loved to defend slavery. You know, they loved telling me, you know, Derek, white people didn't invent slavery. White people went to Africa and watched Africans enslaving each other. You know, a lot of white people really think slavery is just so cool. You know, they're like, Derek, you know, white people will just copy anything they see black people doing. You know, if it's a crazy dance move, you know, if it's rapping, they're just gonna copy them. It's not their fault. Derek, you can't blame white people for copying the hip new crazes of the darkies. I don't know. I don't know if that's great reason. I've gotten to know myself a lot, and I've gotten to know that it's fun making a place to have other people tell their stories, have other people share a little bit about themselves. We have a bunch of beautiful, funny comics on this show for you tonight, sharing themselves, sharing their stories. One of the most special people in my life, the comic coming up next, the comic that I actually am in love with. If I had brought her home when I came out to my parents when I was 25, maybe they would have accepted me a little bit more. Please put your hands together for the comic up next, Jessica Gould.
Woo! Yeah.
Face change there. So I've heard enough stories about fat people being pregnant, and they didn't know it until they were in labor. So every time I'm on the toilet, I have no clue what's about to come out. One time I went to church and they didn't give me a cookie. Now I'm an atheist. I stopped buying sweets at the grocery store. I vastly underestimated my ability to bake things from scratch. But I don't decorate my baked goods. I think people that meticulously decorate cookies don't eat as many cookies as I do. So I have body dysmorphia. So that's typically when girls think they're fat, but they're not fat. But for me, I don't think I am. So it surprises me when people try to bully me about it. Like, who are you talking about? Oh, me. Oh yeah, I forgot. But shame's a really weird thing for me. I spent most of my life thinking that I should feel shame for my inability to lose weight. And it makes me wonder what skinny people think Elf on the Shelf tells on them about. Like, not eating enough? Regular kid stuff like stealing toys? I don't know. Let's see. I was shamed for clapping for myself after a work presentation. Not sure what else I'm really supposed to do to tell people I'm done. Like, I could full curtsy, I could bow, like the gymnastics thing. I didn't know what they wanted from me. So, yeah, that's what I have for you tonight. I will dismount and bring Derek back on.
Thank you so much. Jessica Gould, everyone, a real doctor, giving you real stories about her real body. What a real experience to have over this Zoomified reality. It is my pleasure to bring up our next comic. Please give a warm, loving body Pozi welcome to Katie. Katie.
Yeah.
So much. I'm really happy to be here. There we go. Make sure I'm picking up here. Super happy to be here. I always love to be on a body Pozi show. As I do suffer from like 11 assorted diseases and disorders. And don't worry, I don't have time to talk about all of them tonight. You know, I can only talk about so many diseases at once, thankfully. And actually, the first one I'm going to talk to you about is there's this really old joke. I like to call it a street joke, but I don't think it's technically a street joke. It's more like a crafter's joke, and it's this joke that glitter is the herpes of the craft world, which is fair. It's kind of, you know, they are similar. It gets everywhere. Once your glitter's there, it is kind of for life. But the thing is, like, my biggest issue is that I don't really have body glitter confidence, but I do have herpes and vastly prefer it to the glitter. You know? Like, just vastly prefer. And like, to get back to that glitter confidence situation, like, I'm just not one of those people. Like, I'm not that kind of white person who can just be like, swish, swish, I'm a mermaid, right? Like, that's just not me. not in this gender fluidness, you know? Different vibe. But like, I think the most important thing to note is that other than STDs, when a person with a penis and a person with a uterus get together and they're not responsible, they make a baby, you know? So I'm pretty happy, pretty solidly happy that I have herpes and not a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, STDs are cheaper, you know, like so much cheaper. Can't even tell you. Yeah, actually, throughout this entire, I'm one of the people who was very strictly in my home during this past year. And there was many times where I just found myself missing being in a mental hospital because quarantine is kind of the same. Like, you can't go anywhere, you can't hug anybody, you know? But the biggest difference I found, at least one of the biggest difference, is that when you are in the mental hospital, there are snacks. There are snacks twice a day when you're in the mental hospital, okay? And then sometimes by request, if you've been nice to the staff. But like, the thing is, one of those snacks is, in my opinion, the queen mother of all snacks that can better any day, and that is chocolate pudding. Like, chocolate pudding is one of those things as adults, I think we forget is awesome. Because if I dropped a case at your doorstep right now, you would be delighted. It would probably make your whole week. You might even not like chocolate pudding as much as I do, but you would still be happy, you know? In another service they do offer in the mental hospital service, you know, that's what I like to call it. They're there for me. I'm so entitled. But no, another thing that can happen while you're in mental hospital is a nurse might notice that you look uncomfortable and approach you and be like, excuse me, do you need a Klonopin or a Xanax? And I feel like that's another service we seriously lack in this situation. Just a nurse, like, just going door to door on people's houses and being like, excuse me, would you like a benzodiazepine? Oh, no, you don't know what it is. That's fine. That's fine. You're going to feel great. Just A or B. Like, which one you're going to like? You're going to like how you feel, I promise. And I just think that's a serious thing we're lacking. I definitely think last year would have been probably a little easier with a little bit more Xanax, you know? depending on your situation. And one of the reasons why I do know so much about the mental hospital is because I have to deal with a much stigmatized mental health disorder, borderline personality disorder. And I feel like whenever I say it, there's at least a couple of people in the audience, I imagine, that went and pulled back because they've had a bad experience. But I'm here to tell you that, people with borderline are just like you. No, we're not just like you. That's why we're borderline, actually. That's why there's a whole bit about it right now. But like borderline causes intense emotions. And I finally recently came up with the perfect analogy to explain how intense those emotions are. And it's sort of like if you took a feral cat and you put him in a bag and you beat the bag about a bit and then let it out, those are my feelings. That is my feelings. An insanely bewildered feral cat. That is what it's like to be me. And another thing that I have to deal with when it comes to having this disorder is I have a lot of black and white thinking. I'm very this or that. And when this is applied to certain parts of your life, it's not so bad. But when you apply it to food, it gets tricky. Basically, I have a brain that is like, I would like a gourmet burger with garlic aioli, and I would like beef fat fried French fries. And then on the side, I want an artisanal chocolate milkshake. Or we eat nothing at all. Nothing. We starve. If we can't have that burger, we eat nothing. No sustenance for us. And it's basically like my appetite becomes like the final boss of the Karens, like where's my hollandaise sauce? Like where's my mousse? Is there more in the back? Like that's what my brain becomes. And like my own worst customer, like my 20 years in retail has come back to haunt me, but as myself. Like it's the extremes of like loving and hating yourself all at once. I want to eat, but I only want this, it's so tricky. And one of the things that one of the things that treats and helps a person who's coping with borderline personality disorder is a little thing called exposure therapy. And exposure therapy is essentially when you tell your therapist exactly how uncomfortable you would like to be. And then they do that for you. They just make that environment for you. It's magical, And at the end, you get a valued activity for your hard time, like a walk or a book or a song that you really enjoy. So I've really come to conclude that it's just medically sanctioned BDSM. Like you have made your therapist your mistress. You've said exactly how much pain you would like. And there's a valued activity. You get to come at the end. And as a person who has dabbled in both proper therapy and also BDSM is a lot cheaper. Like just a lot cheaper. These are unprecedented hard times. If you're on a dime, I recommend it. I'm just saying. But I also like to note normally about this point in my set that I am not a medical professional. I am a comedian. So anything I said that sounded like medical advice, don't do that. I've been Katie Zane. Thank you all so much for having me tonight. Woo!
Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed that. We learned a lot about Katie. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. It's a fun comedy show when you're inviting people to share their deep secrets. Thank you so much, Katie. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Dan is okay, everyone. I wanted to share with you. Dan Smith, our regular host, is doing just fine. He messaged me, said he's fine, but wants me to keep plowing on through and sharing this comedy with you. So up next is my dear friend and yours, wearing her excellent brand new merchandise. Please follow and check out Tara everywhere she is. All of her comedy shows. Jump in and do one of her open mics, or watch everything and purchase a shirt. Please put your hands together for Tara!
Oh my God. Yeah. It's like, yeah, she's wearing her own shirt. This is the equivalent of Slash wearing a Guns N' Roses shirt. I shouldn't be proud of this, but here I am. It's comfortable. Go buy one. There we go. All right. Shameless plug. Done. Unlike Katie, I didn't go for the herpes. I went and had kids. Yeah, mistakes were made. I should have sprung for glitter or herpes, or what I'm saying is I chose poorly. And now, God, I'm going to be 40 in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, as a matter of fact, the clock be ticking. And all of my friends my age that are in their late 30s, early 40s, they're all, having babies, and some of them are getting grandbabies, and I'm just like in this weird spot here in the middle, just like, I don't want to hold either one of them. Just yeah, that is definitely a baby. Keep it to yourself, please. Yeah, thank you. What I'm trying to say is, for your safety and don't hand me a baby. All right, I don't want to hold it. I can't stress this enough. If you try and pass one off like, look, it's so cute, you should hold it, my reflex is going to be like, no, not it. Nuh-uh. It's going to hit the floor. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about this. The poor thing will have a head that looks like a sack full of doorknobs, and that's not my fault. All right. You made the choice to pass your kid off, and you're a parent. You should be making better choices now. All right. I'm not your girl. I warned you ahead of time. I don't know what part of I have kids means to you that I like kids. Like, yeah, no, that's where you made your first mistake. Don't assume anything. All right. Like I said, choices were made, not always the right ones. Like, my oldest is 18, so at least I got one to adulthood, without completely hating me. But anyways, I digress. Childhood for me was, I don't know, weird. I guess that's definitely a word. We moved around a lot. I was a poor kid. The words redundant and synonyms are coming to mind right now, but like, my parents kind of figured out the ultimate coupon code when it came to free rent. Did you know that if you don't pay for a few months at a time, you really just get an eviction and then you move on to the next place? And that's how I grew up. I mean, this wasn't normal for everybody. Spoiler alert, I turned out okay. But this meant that I didn't get to keep friends for very long. I had to make new friends very often. And we didn't have social media back then. I don't know if you guys caught earlier, but I'm almost 40. This was back in the 80s. MySpace wasn't a thing yet. Facebook definitely wasn't a thing. And I don't know, maybe we had Napster, but it was kind of a whole different premise. Basically, what I was doing, my form of Napster, was I was going around door to door knocking, asking anyone that answered if there were kids that lived there. Yeah, that giggle tells me that you guys did not do that, and you really think this is a joke. I'm fucking serious. This is my life here, people. Listen up, but also laugh at my expense. It was like DoorDash for deviants, if you really want to break it down. Like, when I say Napster, it's Nabster. It was... that one game that none of us were very good at on Windows, a Minesweeper. Like, you were either blowing up bombs or placing flags to mark the safe spots. And, well, me, by knocking on all those doors, I was either finding the bombs or placing the flags, so you knew where not to go. And it was a fun little game that I like to call Repress the Memory. Yeah, to my recollection, I never won, so... Yeah. And, it was good times. Let's see. It really left me with a complex, like I don't know, an apartment complex. I was, bad pun. We'll just drop that there. We're going to leave it. We're going to leave that right there. Oh God, you know what? We're talking about some nightmarish behavior. Let's tell you guys about an actual nightmare that I had. This is some scary shit. I want you to buckle up. All right. Ready for this? I got mugged in my dream. Yeah. Like, with a gun and everything, like sideways kill shot in my face. And because we're in the middle of this pandemic, the guy wasn't accepting cash. He was just like, no, I don't want your filthy plague money. And I'm like, well, then what do you want, man? And he's like, Venmo me everything you have. Okay. Like, what's your Venmo name, sir? He's like, Skywalker 69. Well, okay, that's a little douchey of you. How do I spell it? So he starts telling me like SKYWALKER_69. The other one was taken. So I'm like scrolling through my phone. I'm looking for it. And guess what? It had his picture. It was also wearing a ski mask. This made it very convenient. I knew that I was actually sending my money to the right person. But he said, send everything I have. And I don't ever know how much I have. Like, I suffer from primnesia. This is like Amazon shopping late at night, and then shit shows up and it's like Christmas every other day. I surprise myself. I am the best secret admirer to me. Anyway. So I have no idea what my bank balance is ever. I just hope that shit goes through, and then it's like this happy little raffle when it does. So I'm trying to log into my banking information, and lo and behold, I fucking forgot my login information. So I'm freaking out, and this guy is gun in my face. Skywalker 69 is about to fucking blast me. So I'm just like, ah! I threw my phone at him, and I tried to run away. I'm like, take it! All right, well, as I threw my phone and I started to run, my phone hit the laptop screen, bounced back at me. And that's when I realized this new normal is totally bullshit, guys, because not only was I being Venmugged at gunpoint, but it was also happening over Zoom, a lot like this. I don't feel very safe anymore. So like, and you know, my luck is going to be Skywalker 69 logs into this Zoom, and then I just freak out, throw my phone, and it's like a prophetic dream, whatever. I still don't know my banking login information, so it's anybody's guess. Good luck, Amazon. Let's see. Yeah, I know that nightmare is like hella weird. I don't like technology. Technology sucks. I would really rather just, you know, venture out into the woods, eat some mushrooms, and come back a few hours later a little bit more humble. You know, through therapy, I really realized that I had a time machine back in the day, you know, while I was DoorDash, deviant, ditching, whatever. I don't know, Minesweeper, Minecraft, whatever the fuck I was playing. Repress the memory. I never won. Remember that. Remember that. So if I had a time machine back then and a shit ton of psychedelics, I really could have had the perfect childhood. Like, we could have put those together. I could have just had some sweet, sweet memories. And it wouldn't have been the drug-fueled orgy that it actually was. You know, yeah. In my parents' defense, you know, babysitters are fucking expensive, all right? And you should really include your children in the activities that you enjoy. Like, I mean, I turned out all right. We've already established this. But I'm going to call that my time, guys. I have been Tara Christian Wiedner. You've been a fantastic audience. Go follow Living Room Comedy on Facebook and check out all my stuff. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please,
Hey,
welcome
back.
that earlier. You know, we're on the Body Pozi show, and I am positive that when your body tells you it's time to go, it's time to go. So, what I didn't get to tell you, real quick, what I didn't get to tell you about that kid that was bullying me was I was actually really impressed at his originality in his bullying topics, you know? I mean, he didn't just go for the low rolling fruit with me. Oh, rolling fruit, never mind. All right, I want to bring up your next comedian. This is your final comedian of the night, your headliner tonight. He is the host of the excuse me, the questionable some questionable content debate show, comedian debate show. I'm so sorry. I'm just all over the place.
Oh, good.
He's also does the workshop where he workshops comedians for jokes. Please give a warm welcome to Kevin Eggleston. I hope I didn't fuck up your name, dude.
Oh, you got it, man. You nailed it, Dan. All right, give it up again for Dan, your host. I assume the literally singles of people watching this are clapping for you right now, Dan. And I just want to say thank you to all the comedians that are on this. This has been a fun time for these shows. When Derek asked me to do the body positivity show, I was so excited. I went out and I bought a new shirt to wear just for it because I wanted to make an impression. And I'm not wearing that shirt right now because it did not fit at all. All right, like I ordered this shirt on Amazon and then I started setting unrealistic fitness goals for the next 2 days for myself. Like with Prime shipping, I can put off disappointment with myself for at least a couple days. Right. I was like, well, Kevin, if you lose 30 pounds each day for the next 2 days, this will fit. This will be fine. You'll look good. And then I got the shirt and I put it on and I had that little like belly thing that hung out. And I was like, oh, this is not good at all. So what I did is like, and the thing is, I'm not returning that shirt. Okay. I'm not taking that back to Amazon because Amazon knows nobody's sending back a 4X shirt because they don't like the pattern. All right. They're like, oh, you misjudged where you were in that shame spiral, didn't you? You've been ordering DoorDash every night for 3 weeks thinking you're saving the economy. Turns out you need to save yourself. So what I do is I take that shirt, I crumple up into a little ball, and then I throw it in the back of my closet. And it becomes a goal shirt now. It's now my goal clothing. And if you don't know what goal clothing is, congratulations, you probably have a healthy BMI. All right, good on you. That must be nice. My mom bought me McNuggets when she knew I was sad. So I have an unhealthy relationship with food, but clearly you're doing well, imaginary person on the internet I do not like anymore. But like if you don't know what a goal shirt is, it's where you hope you'll lose enough weight to be able to put that shirt back on someday. I don't even have goal shirts anymore. I have just sliding fitness standards. Like I have like an archaeological dig of clothing I can't wear anymore. Like my only hope is that I get my life together and Jinko jeans become popular at the same time. That's what I need to have happen. Like I realized I needed to change some stuff. Like I love myself, but I realized not everyone has to agree with that because I got kicked out of an airline seat. Not because I was too big for the seat, but because they didn't think I could handle the responsibility of the emergency exit row. The lady's like, well, if you need a seatbelt extender, sir, you can't actually be in the exit lane. And I was like, that doesn't make sense, but I guess you make the rules. The air marshal started to get involved. They replaced me with an 80-year-old woman on oxygen. I was like, oh, that's who you want saving the day? That's who you think? She looks like she shoved a guy off of a life raft on the Titanic. You think she's going to help? She's lived a good life. She'll fight to keep it. All right. Like, they're like, yeah, you look like you can't even handle the responsibility of portion control, sir. Let alone the responsibility of the emergency exit row. I was like, I got really mad because I was like, what do you think? What do you think happens if a fat person's the first one down that little slide? Do you think we're going to turn around and hungry hippos our way through first class? Is that what you think's going to happen? Just I'm like, do you think I'm going to be on that raft out in the middle of the Atlantic and being like, all right, we've been on this thing for an hour. Who are we eating first? Like, do you really worry that I'm going to go to cannibalism that quickly? And so they go, sir, we can get you a new seat. And I said, that's fine. I just want to sit down. And they put me on the very back seat of the plane. And I was like, I didn't want this seat. Okay. I was like looking around. I was like, hey, that's not fair. All right. I was going to get all Malcolm double XL on them. Just like, there's more of us than there are of you. By volume, just statistically. And the stewardess or the flight attendant, she came back and she goes, hey, that was really embarrassing. And I said, probably not for you. Probably not at all for you. And she goes, hey, we feel really bad. We want to say we're sorry. And she handed me a cheese plate. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I have a problem, and so you gave me more of my problem. Thank you for that. Do you also have friends that do meth, and you're like, hey, you know what would fix this? More meth. I do think about working out quite a bit. That's as far as I get. I get to the brainstorming stage, and then every time I'm like, I'm tired. No, I thought about boxing. I was like, I can do this alone during the pandemic. I can start shadow boxing. And then I realized that's not getting you ready for anything athletic. Like shadow boxing is at best the air guitar of the martial arts world. Okay. But the thing is people pretend like it's a legitimate thing to do. Okay. You're telling me if I sit in a corner and do this enough, I'm going to be able to fight Mike Tyson? No, I'm not the champion of the world. When I was doing that in high school by imagining it was a lightsaber, all you guys called me was a virgin. Okay. It's not fair. All right. I don't think that shadow boxing should count as a legitimate prep for a fight, because if you look at how like kickboxers get ready for a match, they just go out and they kick down trees. All they do. They just make like a Lowe's home improvement lumber yard of like kicked down trees. And you're telling me punching air is going to get you ready for that same fight? It won't. It's not going to at all. I also don't understand. I don't understand. The only thing I understand about sports is energy drinks or sports drinks. Like I understand those. I just don't think they should be called sports drinks. Okay. Because a sport drink is just sugar and salt and lime flavoring. That's 3/4 of a margarita. That's not an athletic beverage. Okay. You add tequila to that and you got what my mom had before she made me. All right. Like, I think it's funny because I was watching a documentary about sports and they were talking about how Gatorade revolutionized athletics. I think that tells you that every sport before Gatorade was invented was shitty. I don't think we actually had real athletes in the 60s. You're telling me like a virgin daiquiri can revolutionize basketball? Bullshit. All right. Do some sit-ups. That'll probably fix your sport quicker than beverages. I like that they don't even card you to buy a Gatorade at a store. Okay. They just let you take it. They don't even make you run a wind sprint or anything. I don't even have to prove it to them. It's pretty great. I also laugh because the first sports drink came out in 1927, and they're like, this is the first sports beverage. We were still including cocaine in Coca-Cola until 1929. I think that was the first sports beverage. All right? Like, that was like if you invented the wheel and then somebody made a version of the wheel 2 years later that didn't have cocaine. It's just a worse version of a good thing. But I do try to get into boxing. It's because I paid attention to boxing because that was the only time I ever really bonded with my dad. We watched the Rocky movies together a lot. It was good times. He liked it because it was a story about a man overcoming adversity. I liked it because I thought it was a documentary about the ice cream. I was just like, he's fighting a lot of Russians. When's he learned to put marshmallows in it? That come in the sixth one? I don't get this. No, I gotta say, I've been watching a lot of horror movies lately. I really like horror movies. Do I have anyone else in here that's a horror movie fan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tara, why do you like horror movies?
Because they make me feel better about my real life.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I love a horror movie because I like watching somebody die running for a completely different reason than I will. It's like, oh, yeah, that sucks. You died running. Guess what? Stairs suck for me too. I get it. No, I've watched a lot of horror movies. My favorite ones are ones where people get possessed. Those just scare me because I'm like, oh man, that's my biggest fear too. I'm worried about a demon inhabiting my body. Totally honest. Because I'm worried if the demon got inside me, was possessing me, he would be disappointed by my body. Just be in there and be like, "No, I got the bad one. It's moist in here. Oh, his tits have tits." Like, I just worry that the demon would be like like angry at me because he's like worried that I'm gonna have a heart attack when he's trying to like build the ceremonial circle. Like, he has having to lug the candles to his car, but he has to park closer to the slaughter field. Like, he just dedicates his little demon life not to ending Armageddon, but just to getting me in shape. I just wake up, and instead of opening the fridge and there's body parts, it's just organic produce. Uplifting messages in blood on my window. It's like, "I believe in you." The demons are the friends we make along the way. The other thing is, I have anxiety, and I'm worried that if I go to a party, people are going to like the demon more than me. They're just like, "Hey, Kevin, you're all right, but can Demon Kevin come out?" I'm like, "Oh, come on, guys. I just like to have a night by myself." They're like, "No, bring him out. He does shots really good." Fine. But I'd do a trade-off with him. I'd be like, "Look, you can have my body for like 3 hours, but I need you to call the doctor, and I'm afraid of the phone." So that seems fair. I should mention I'm a teacher, and sometimes as a teacher, people will ask me like what my best memory is, and I'm supposed to say things like, "The best memory you'll ever have as a teacher, the best moment you'll ever have as a teacher is the day your students learn something new." And I want you to know I'm lying 100% of the times I say that. That's never been a good time for me. The best day I've ever had as a teacher is I got an email from a parent that said, "Dear Mr. Eggleston, my kid's a dick. Sorry." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm quitting my job now. It's never going to get better." That's the Mount Everest. All right. It's all downhill from there. Like, I want to be clear. I've been married to my wife for 10 years. I love her to death, but I have never looked at our wedding photos. I've read that email 13 times. Okay? I keep a copy of it in my wallet in case I get sad. I'm just like, this parent gets it. Their kid is an asshole. I get a lot of parents right now that'll say stuff. They're like, we think we're doing a lot of work right now. We're kind of like teachers. We're homeschooling our kids. And I want you to know you're not. Okay, you're not. Teachers and parents need to be different things. Parents, you have a different job. Okay, stay in your lane. Your job is to be like a cheerleader that gives them snacks. Okay? Parents, you need to tell your kids they can be whatever they want. You need to tell your kids to dream that they can be anything. And a teacher's job is to tell your kid to dream realistically. Right? You need someone on the sidelines because you're like, "Hey, Brantley, you can be a doctor," and you need a teacher to just yell from the sidelines, "Hey, Brantley, remember that time you got a nosebleed and passed out? Maybe don't be a surgeon. That might not be for you." All right? Like, you got sick on the tilt-a-whirl. You're probably not going to be an astronaut. And that's the thing. I don't want a teacher to be a dream crusher. I want to be clear. I don't want a teacher to be a dream crusher because the only thing that happens if a teacher crushes dreams is they make another teacher. That's what happens. Like, you don't go into education to be better. Going into education is done to you, okay? Like, you've seen the pinnacle of human accomplishment and you've settled for mediocrity, all right? You're like, "I will trade ambition for the summers off." That's what you've decided as a teacher. You're like, "Oh, I don't want to be famous, but I want June, July, and August." That's all you've settled for. But you need people like that. I'm going to be honest. You need people to like temper your ambition a little bit. Otherwise, you get yourself in trouble. Okay. I wish somebody would have done that for me. All right. Because when I was 6 years old, the only thing I wanted to be was a Ninja Turtle. That's it. That was my career goal. And so I had my parents sign me up for karate classes. And like, when you take a karate class, you find out it's not so much mystical martial arts. It's a creepy room in a strip mall next to a broken down Sbarro. There's like, oh, maybe they keep all the mystical secrets next to in the H&R Block. Maybe that's what happens. And so it was less learning how to fight ninjas, and it was more having to do fingertip push-ups while a 40-year-old guy named Sensei Dan told us that karate is about when you don't hit people. The whole time is him just lecturing. He's like, karate is about knowing when it's okay not to punch someone. Which I was like, no, man, that's jazz. Okay? Like, you know what your bullies don't respect when you're 6? Your self-restraint. They don't care that you're like, you should be amazed at my self-control. I'm not even throwing any punches. They're like, yeah, I know. It makes it a lot easier. Okay? It makes our job so much less complicated. And it was funny is every Thursday, my parents would just dump me off at this karate place. And then they'd come in like 15 minutes before the end because Sensei Dan would circle us all up and be like, who wants to spar? And I didn't know what that word meant, so I'd always volunteer. And if you've never sparred in a kindergarten karate class, what it is they stick a 10-pound helmet on your head that's just like covered in somebody else's sweat. It's like lined with stinky wet naps. It's too heavy for your neck, so you just tilt to the left the whole time, like you're a drunk baby. Every time you throw a punch, you spin in a circle. And like, that's the only time my dad showed any interest because all the other dads would circle around us like they were doing a pre-K version of Fight Club. And they would just yell moves at us like it was a kindergarten Pokemon battle. You'd be like, sweep the legs, Kevin. Like, I didn't watch that movie. I'm not old enough. It's PG-13, Dad. It was tough. Like, I didn't ever survive it because I got drop kicked in the chest by another 6-year-old girl. And it hurt. I'm not going to lie. She kicked me so hard in the chest, I think she broke my sternum and the glass ceiling all at once. All right. She kicked me so hard, I became a feminist for life. I was like, oh my God, what have I done to make the wage gap? I am part of the problem. I got toxic masculinity beat out of me in that class. It was delightful, but shameful at the same time. And I didn't fight again. Like, she kicked my ass so bad that I became a pacifist, not because of like a philosophical reason, but because I knew I would never win a fight. And my parents took me out of the class after that, and I didn't join a martial arts class or any sort of fighting class until I was 13 years old, and I started getting bullied in middle school. 6th grade was rough for me, and I was getting beat up. And I asked my mom and dad. I said, "Hey guys, can I start taking martial arts again?" And they said, "Yeah, because that 6-year-old girl has been terrorizing you this whole time." And I signed up for it, but the only class that we had available in my town was cardio kickboxing. So it was just my 13-year-old self and like 8 divorcees. And the only thing we had in common were stretch marks and body image issues. Like, that was it. Like, I was trying to, see the eye of the tiger, and they were trying to catch their husband's eyes again after all those years. And the thing is, I took that class, and I'm going to be honest, I never learned how to fight with kickboxing. I did learn how to fight like a single mom, though. Okay? Like, I knew how to make cutting comments and be really mean in a YouTube page. Like, I would just, instead of fighting somebody, I would just go and like seduce their dad. It was really my go-to move. But the problem is, like, when you learn to take a cardio kickboxing class, you don't actually learn how to fight. You learn how to fight if there's a rhythm. So it was really tough to convince my bullies to play my mixtape. Like, I was a kid in the early 2000s. It was just like you had to hope your ringtone for your Nokia brick phone would be enough to help you like find a rhythm to punch someone. I'm going to end on this. I've talked a lot about some stuff that's a little sad. I do have one moment of joy in my life. I got a new dog. Yeah, I love the little dude. He's already made me stop believing in evolution. Okay, like I let him outside to go to the bathroom and he tripped over his own ears and gave himself a concussion. I was just like, oh, I don't believe you're fit enough to survive anything. Like, you're just God's little Forrest Gump bumbling your way through existence. You need us more than we need you. But the problem is he got a cut, and my wife said, Kevin, you need to take him to the vet. And I said, we're not going to do that. He's fine. She goes, no, you don't understand. What if that cut turns into a bald spot? I said, is that what we do now, honey? We take things to the hospital when they have bald spots? Because where was that concern when I got my first one? Huh? You know what you did when I got my first bald spot? You bought me hats, and then you started buying yourself expensive shampoo to rub it in. Okay? Doesn't feel really fair at all. And she goes, well, you don't get it. I don't want other dogs to pick on him. I don't want other dogs to bully him when we go to the dog park. And I was like, do you think that's what happens? You think that's the concern we have, is that dogs are getting bullied? Because they greet each other by sniffing butts, honey. Probably not a lot of hierarchy in their lives. You know who does bully people? Teenage girls. You know what I do? Work with teenage girls, okay? The yearbook is becoming more and more like my suicide note every day because I look like this. All right? My name's Eggleston, and I look like an egg. That's not my fault, okay? And they notice it every time. But I took the dog to the vet because I knew I was never going to win that argument. I don't know if you guys probably all should have seen that coming. I was talking to the vet, and I was explaining to the vet. I said, our dog is pretty cool. We got him at a rescue, and we don't know what he is, so we got a DNA test. The vet, she said, that's really cool. What is he? And I said, well, he's a mix of everything. He's got German Shepherd. He's got Labrador. He's got Mastiff in him. He's even got Pit Bull in him. And she stopped me and she goes, oh, no. No, I don't like that. I don't like that he's got Pit Bull in him at all. Oh. That doesn't change anything, actually, doctor. Like, I don't know if I have to explain that to you, how genetics works, but it doesn't make his parents go back in time and not have sex, all right? Like, it's also weird that you went really hard into eugenics here with this dog while I'm in this conversation. The haircut, is that what you think the problem is? And she says, no, you don't understand, sir. Pit bulls are the only dogs that kill for fun besides wolves. I was like, how do you know that? How do you know dogs are the only thing that kill for fun? Do you conduct an exit survey after every dog murder that happens? Also, that implies that there's a series of dogs killing things that aren't done for fun. All right? Do you think that like that dog is just like the reverse version of John Wick? Somebody killed his Keanu Reeves and he's just getting revenge for 3 movies? Is that what you're assuming? Also, I want to be clear. Dogs do everything for fun. All right? They're beings of unrestrained joy. I watched a dog eat poop with so much happiness that I thought I was the wrong side of the issue. I was like, maybe I'm on the wrong side of history here. He looks more fulfilled than me. And so I felt really weird about the whole thing because I was like, this now changes the relationship I have with my dog. Like every time he's giving me kisses, now I'm worried that he's just like looking for a weak spot. It's like every time I go to the bathroom, I thought he was there because he had separation anxiety, but maybe he's just following me in there because there's no witnesses. Okay. And I was like, it was worse is like I paid her $20 for this feedback about my dog. And I was like, we don't have to take this abuse. Let's go home, David Barkowitz. And if you folks don't appreciate how amazing that pun is, I want you to find your nearest white lady. And I want you to ask her about it. Because she understands that's a serial killer joke because she collects serial killer trivia like they're Snapple facts. All right? So, I've been Kevin Eggleston. That's been my time, folks.
Woo!
Thank you very much, Kevin. Hey, Kevin, I want to know where those coked up wheels that you mentioned are. Now, I need to give mine a couple bumps. I'll just, fly right up the stairs.
You don't need to get a motorized one if you got Coke wheels.
Yeah, exactly. That's my new nickname. No, wait, no, it's not. No, it's not. Never mind. Oh, my goodness. Ladies, folks, that's going to be our show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to the comedians, all the comedians. Great sets tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you to Stab Comedy. Thank you to my wonderful producer, Derek. And to thank you for watching. We love you. Good night.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everyone. Another great Body Posi comedy show. That's it for us tonight. Hopefully, you'll join us again another night. We here at Stab Comedy Theater stream live improv, stand-up, sketch, podcast, gaming streams 7 days a week. There's something every day. There's literally no reason not to be here. But thanks for checking us out today. Tomorrow, we're going to have some fun. Our Inside the Box stream, we're going to give it a weekend version. So maybe come by and join us 4 o'clock tomorrow. In the meantime, check out all the full calendar of events at stabcomedytheater.com. But let's continue your stand-up evening. Let's send you guys over to our friends over at Comedy Hub, the Twitch audience. We'll send you over there. Hold on 1 second. Keep your stand-up evening going, and we will see you soon.
Oh,